get you some money, you're gonna feel different.
Straight up.
You might even, all that other advice I could have gave you, this the short version. You know, get you a couple dollars, man. You're gonna feel different.
Hey, with Nip Hustle, big shout out to SPI, Spotter Low. You know, I'm in the black box, had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned, all that.
I was sliding through the YouTube streets, seen a thumbnail with my partner, the original real Rick Ross, Freeway Ricky Ross, the boss, and Rick Ross, the rapper. And it says something about Rick Ross, the rapper, being exposed. And I was just trying to get back into the swing of the constant, consistent, continuous content creation campaign. Those are the 7 C's that we swing here in the black box. So I said, this should be good as itty to see what they saying about Officer Ricky. So with no further ado, let's see what they say. Rick Ross, the rapper, and the real Rick Ross have been up to.
This is not Rick Ross. This is William Roberts. On your screen right now is the actual Rick Ross, but this story gets messy.
How the fuck did you lose?
The judge got to make a technical decision.
Is this the biggest coincidence of all time, or is the rapper that calls himself Rick Ross lying again?
Trick Daddy recently accused you of working as a prison guard at one point, Rick. Is there any truth to that?
No, that's not true. But that's disappointing to hear that he said that. He said that.
Were you a correctional officer at one point?
I was, yeah.
They had 15 lawyers.
Oh,
you know how much money they say they spent on the lawsuit?
How much?
$1.5 million.
Wow.
You know how much they offered me?
How much?
0.
Also, in today's video, we're going to get into Rick Ross for the first time actually being confronted about the name, which was a very funny watch. The rapper Rick Ross grew up in an impoverished neighborhood. He witnessed drug dealing, cartel-related violence, and flashy lifestyles of dealers, which heavily influenced his music and persona. His family played vinyl records at his home and R&B, sparking musical interest. He listened to Tupac, Biggie, and many other rappers as a teen. He reportedly dreamed of drug dealing, but channeled ambition elsewhere. He attended Miami Carroll City Senior High School and played football as an offensive lineman and showed athletic talent and discipline. In the early 1980s, Freeway Ricky Ross built a massive cocaine trafficking empire in Los Angeles and beyond. Earning the Freeway nickname and properties near the Harbor Freeway, he claims massive daily sales and becomes a notorious figure during the crack epidemic.
On Google, it says you moved $900 million worth in the 80s. Is that accurate, or is it higher or less?
That's probably higher than what they said. My last 2 years being in the dope game, I was making at least $1 million every day.
This is before inflation.
Well, all that wasn't profit though. I only made like, off of every million I make like 200,000. Sometimes a little more. So like, you know, if I did a day and I make like $3 million came into the house, I would make like $600,000.
What's actually wild is Freeway Rick Ross at one point was going to be a tennis player. A friend introduced him to cocaine, and Rick moved his focus from the tennis court to selling drugs, making an initial investment of $125 and building a criminal business that made millions of dollars in profit. But you need to understand the times he went jail to understand this full story. We're going to get into the first one, and then we'll get into the other arrest that actually set him down for a lot longer. Freeway Ricky Ross first went to jail back in the late 1980s for his involvement in a large-scale conspiracy to traffic and distribute cocaine across the United States. Following several arrests, Ross eventually testified against corrupt police officers involved in his operation. In exchange for cooperation, his federal sentence was reduced to 51 months.
They planted 2 kilos on me.
In the car or in the house where they arrested you?
No, they didn't arrest me. They never arrested me.
So how do they plant you with drugs when you're not even on your person?
Yeah, what they said happened is when I jumped out the car, I dropped. My guys, they said because when I jumped out the car, Cornell said he put the car in park, stopped the car and put it in park, because I left the car running. It was rolling when I jumped out. I think they're gonna kill me, so I'm running for my life.
Yeah.
It's not just I'm trying to get away. I'm running for my life. So Cornell put the car in park. He said once they cuffed him up and everything, they put the kilos right by the door of the car where the door was open. They took pictures of it and said I dropped the bag as I dropped out. The judge, he kind of roasted him too, because the judge was like, why would the head guy jump out with the dope? He got 2 of his underlings in there.
Right.
And then they said when they followed me out the shop, they said I had a gun too. So when we walked out with like 30 guys, the judge scolded him about this. And he said, so you telling me that Mr. Ross walked out with 30 guys and he was the one carrying a gun?
Right.
And this is the same guy that you guys been in here telling me all of these, how smart he is and how brilliant he is and that you guys can't catch him.
Yeah.
He said, keep telling your story.
Wow.
So the judge is already
doesn't believe these cops.
He doesn't believe them. He's already questioning their credibility already.
Wow.
So when they took me back to the county jail, the cops come to the county jail.
Are you in LA downtown?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they took me back into a little room and they interviewed me. And that's what killed their case. So they recorded this conversation too.
Shortly after his initial release, Ross was desperate for cash and was lured into the final drug deal by his former partner, who had become a paid DEA.
Wow, Rick Ross, the real Rick Ross, was in jail getting interviewed by law enforcement. Rick Ross, the rapper, was in jail interviewing inmates on behalf of law enforcement. Big difference.
Informant, and Ross was set up in San Diego in a sting operation and arrested in 1995 with 100 kg of cocaine. He got a life sentence because of his new bust and prior drug convictions. Ross was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole in 1996.
In our heyday, as much as maybe $1 million a day, $2 million a day sometimes, maybe more, a few days. This wasn't every day though. Right. It was like we had days that
I noticed from young man right there to right now, when you see him speak, he speak with the same exact confidence. You see no regret. It's like he knew high risk, high reward, and even high debt to pay. And he took it all on the chin. And he still speak with this same confidence. He had a life sentence while he was doing this interview. Look at the confidence he's speaking with.
That's how much you were taking in?
Right, in one day.
Yeah. Ross says he complained to his supplier, Danilo Blandan, that he had difficulty counting all the money.
So eventually he bought us a money machine, and he brought it over to us. And it eased the pain, a lot. But eventually it even got too much for one money machine. We wound up getting 3 money machines to count it. Because one money machine would just be running, and then we'd have money stacked. And we had people that all they would do all day was count money, eventually.
Full-time money counters.
Yeah.
But he successfully appealed his life sentence using the 3 strikes law and reducing it to 20 years. And he ultimately walked free in 2009.
And I got a life sentence from that case. I found a law that said there's a thing that's called continuous criminal spree. Right. So mine was a continuous criminal spree where I had never been brought to my senses.
You never had the time to rehabilitate.
Right.
Rehabilitate.
Correct. So they only counted as one conviction. And for one conviction, the most they could give me was 20 years.
When you found out that you could do that, how did you feel?
I felt vindicated. They had broke my willpower, for 6 weeks.
Okay, so he has been broken, but he hasn't shown it. Never let him see you sweat. That confidence that I pointed out as a young man, look, he's still speaking with it.
Months they kept dangling, 100 kilos of cocaine in my face every day.
What do you mean dangling 100 keys in your face?
Well, my informant called me and said he had 700 kilos and that I could get 100 of them.
Did you considered it?
No, I went to get them.
So December 1995, while he was going through the prison issues, Ross begins working as a correctional officer at a South Florida reception center, a Florida Department of Corrections facility. He was in his early 20s. Between 95 and 97, he works there for approximately 18 months. Some slight variations on this time frame. Reports indicate he received a perfect attendance award and took the job seriously, sometimes even arriving early.
How do you feel about Bossa giving you the name Officer Ricky? I just want to hear it from you.
Baby, I'm worth too much money to even be,
Eddie, he wasn't expecting that from Lil Mama. He should have never lied. You should have never lied, big boy. First time they asked you should have been like, yep, I got a son that's a correctional officer. And when I met his mother, he was 2 years old. His other father, his birth father, he's a junior actually. He from VNG. My son, he is square. We raised him to be a square, but he had the option to be a square or to do things at a certain age that, wasn't quite right. And if he wanted to, he could be telling stories about who he know, what he's seen, some of what he's done. I remember when he had to take the test to qualify, he was nervous. He had to do a lie detector. and they were going to ask him about certain things about myself and his other father, and he chose to be true about it. And in the long run, they told him they felt like he was the perfect candidate for the job because he knew both sides of the world. Even though he was a square, he had parents from the life, and they trusted that he would know how to communicate to the men without being compromised or things of that nature. But just like Rick Ross, if my son just had a talent to rap, and even if he saved some money off of his correctional officer job, he's been with about 4 or 5 years, he could be stacking and say, now I got a budget, I'm finna put myself out independent. If he came out rapping thug shit based on the shit he's seen me do, some of the things he's even done around me, with me when he was kind of young, or his other father, he'd keep it real. Yep. And I was in the, just think, it's correctional officers right now today making sure the inmates got everything in the words of contraband that they can have. But he was so discombobulated. He didn't have the confidence. He came with that so later, trying to act like he was in there, part of the game. Should have thought that out beforehand.
Sidetracked on this carpet, you know what I mean?
We're not trying to sidetrack you, though. I'm not trying to sidetrack you at all.
I'm just letting you know that, just so you'll know. And you can let them know whatever, you know, it's all love.
Okay.
Were you a correctional officer at one point?
I was, yeah.
So going all the way back. When was that? How long ago?
Maybe when I was 20.
See it all in his face. Ain't no maybe, bro. If you were ever a correctional officer, and especially if you've changed your whole image to be this thuggy, ugly, D-boy, you know exactly how old you were when you were a correctional officer. This is all discombobulation, lack of confidence, lack of authenticity.
20 years old.
Yeah.
What kind of people were in there?
You know, I didn't really get to make it to the prison.
18 months, he didn't make it to the prison.
Because you got to go through training and all that, and I didn't last long.
Right.
I may have lasted 4 months.
What made?
I thank the Creator that I have never been ashamed of myself. I've done things that I wish I had not done. I've had experiences I wish I've not had, and some of them could be considered embarrassing. But I just been settled in my mind and reconcile with this. If I went through it, I can't be the first or one of the few. Whether it's well known or not, it's other humans experiencing it. And I got over that initial being embarrassed about anything. I'm going to laugh at the moment harder than the people laughing at me, and it's over with. I don't know what. I couldn't imagine running around having realities about myself that I'm ashamed of. That's why when people make negative content directed toward me, I have absolutely no interest, concern to go watch it. If you're saying anything about me that's negative, it's a lie, nigga. All the things that we, real niggas, LA Street, whatever, all the shit we claim to be, I happen to actually be the epitome of. I don't have to sit up here, beat my chest, and profess that over and over again on a consistent, constant, continuous basis, because I did it for the live audience that was there. And you know, the way things go, a lot of them not even alive no more, but it's a silent audience. Those that it mattered for knew in real time, and they know I'm not here to try to convince nobody nothing. I don't know nothing. Never did nothing. You dig a lot? East side.
You want to do that?
One of my big homies that just got in trouble, and a lot of people.
It took you too long to come up with this goofy ass story. This would have worked if you'd have came right off top with it, but you lied about being a correctional officer. So now this story is boof.
A lot of things were going on, and he just suggested it. They was trying to tell, you know, they wanted me to do right, man. They said they seen greatness in me. Yeah. They wanted me to be great, man. And they actually had two choices for me, a fireman and corrections.
Imagine Rick Ross, you're in a fire and Rick Ross comes and saves you.
June 1997, Ross resigns from the position, pursuing music full time. In 2008, The Smoking Gun published a document including the social security number match and photo in uniform. Exposes his past, Ross initially denies it, but later admits to an 18-month stint. The revelation obviously sparked backlash within the rap circle. Rick Ross is obviously deeply insecure.
I don't care how old you get, 80 years old, you never confuse an 18-month experience with a 4-month experience. That's just somebody that's ashamed of themselves, lying, running from their past. And them is not the type of people we respect. Those are the people that eventually go on to say things like, yeah, dropped the Molly in her drink. She ain't even know it. Took her home and did my thing and she ain't even know it. Also end up saying, oh yeah, hopping out the Maserati, tight jeans on, no drawers. Jay-Z, what up, nigga? Them the type of niggas. That's what they turn out to be.
About his past, because at first he
gangster shit you ever heard about him is whatever happened with DJ Vlad. Just think about that, man. We know he was a police, he was a rapper, and some type of gangster shit happened with DJ Vlad. Other than that, we just see them in Canada get punched and run. What else do we know about this big old oversized honey bun?
just completely denied it. Only till an article actually proved it was solid evidence did he admit it and own up. He thought he was going to get away with this lie.
Trick Daddy recently accused you of working as a prison guard at one point, Rick. Is there any truth to that?
No, that's not true. But that's disappointing to hear that he said that. He said that?
That's what the question said, yeah.
That's crazy.
No correctional officer. No, don't believe that. In his lifetime, a corrections officer.
Rick Ross done did it all to get money.
Is that picture Rick Ross?
Yeah, that picture was Rick Ross.
You get into a space, because I believe you. When every day I'm hustling, I'm thinking that's who he is. Then you look in the back and go, wait, he's a cop. You serious? And anything else that comes out is go, okay, I can't even take
this. Freeway Ricky Ross would obviously cite the irony.
I thought it was interesting also you address all the controversies in it, like when people trying to tear you down about correctional officer controversy. And you said in some ways you felt like you didn't handle that right at the time. Like, can you talk about that?
Rick Ross has always been good at making money, but something he's always been better at is dodging questions. You're going to see that throughout this video, but towards the end, he will address things a little bit more. But this guy has always been a great question dodger and saying a whole load of nothing when he's asked something very direct.
Because, you know, me, where I'm from, you know, the way we move and always been certified, highly respected. Everybody that know me where I'm from, you know, they know it's the boss. When I say boss, they know I meant that. They know it come with that. They know I accept whatever come with that. And dealing with the internet and different places and different things was different. And I understood a lot of people didn't understand the big picture of how we was moving, and my homies that was going to federal prison and the indictments that was coming down and the, you know, the things you have to do. You know, it was just a lot of different things that I understand. But I felt I was going to paint the picture for people to really know how we get down, how we hustle, the goals that we, you know, we make. And
so through the mid 2000s when he was locked up, William Rob.
I never heard nobody just say that much bullshit. That was some straight bullshit.
Roberts II adopts the stage name Rick Ross as a rapper, inspired by the drug kingpin's persona. The rapper has downplayed and denied direct inspiration, and he rises as a rapper, signing with Slip and Slide, Def Jam, and releasing his debut single Hustlin' back in 2006. And Rick Ross's music was all about drug dealing and the hustling lifestyle. That hustling song revolves around the drug hustle. Every day I'm hustling, and lyrics mention buying and selling the whole thing, and associates still dealing cocaine. Rich Off Cocaine's another song directly celebrates rising from drugs to his wealth. Lines about chickens, cocaine slang, and watches funded by dope. You got drug dealer's dream. Entire track fantasizing about the highs and lows of the drug game, mansions, cash, and also violence and death. Coke like the 80s, the crack era, and heavy cocaine references. Neighborhood drug dealer, a straightforward trap dealer anthem, and other references with songs like Blowing Money Fast, Cocaine Running in My Veins, Rich as Gangster, Cocaine Worth More Than Gold. This guy has had a massive persona around that hustle life.
He let you know it's his imagination when he say, I think I'm Big Meech, Larry Hoover. He let you know in my mind, this is my imagination. It's all it ever has been. Because if it wasn't, I would be, I think I'm that nigga. Nobody is bigger. Why do you have to associate your name with all these other names to say you are somebody? Because you ain't never did shit. You was the police.
lifestyle. So the rapper Rick Ross blows up with albums like Port of Miami and Triller, and Freeway Ricky Ross is released from prison in September 2009 after his sentence was reduced, like we spoke about, and he'd been serving his time through the mid-1990s into the 2000s. Freeway Rick Ross discovers when he comes out the rapper, reportedly via prison and media who's becoming aware, is using his name and sues him along with the labels like Warner Music for copyright and trademark infringement on publicity rights, seeking $10 million in damages. And the suit claims the rapper stole and profited from his name and image without permission. An initial federal dismissal leads to a state refiling.
When the streets had that kind of love for you, the rappers find out. You know, they're some of the first people to find out about that, and he took it and he capitalized on it.
Based on that alone, as far as him taking the name at the time,
the only reason he wasn't really able to get a hold of him with this, because his empire was a criminal empire. Had he been any other type of famous person, he would have had Rick Ross by the balls.
I'm up. I can't, and again, I don't know the dates and when he came out and things of that nature. What do you have to stand on that legally?
2005, he came out.
Okay.
He told me himself.
Oh man. So that was a conversation afterwards that you had with him about
when I was in prison.
Oh man.
See, I found out about him when he first came out in XL magazine, because I had a book club inside the prison. So I had about 15 to 20 guys that studied with me in prison. We all studied, we read books together, we planned on doing business together when we got out. So one of the guys came over with XL magazine, he showed it to me.
Ricky Ross Freeway, the original, was on to the rapper the second he come out. Many people said he just wanted to secure a payday, but he was going to put the pressure on that would lead into a legal battle.
You need to get with yourself, figure out how to man up and right the wrongs that you've done. First of all, you got to know who you messing with at all times. Once you mess with the wrong person and you make a mistake, the first thing you should do is go and apologize. And when you owe, pay your bills. Well, to have somebody represent you, you would hope that they would be a true representation of what you are and where you from. But this guy here is so untouched with what's going on in reality that I really think he's going to be a disrespect to the name altogether. Well, I'm from the old school and I didn't change in time. It's one of the reasons I wound up going to jail doing 20 years. So you got to be on top of the game right now, which I am. People going to be seeing all the new things that I'm finna do on the internet. I got a bunch of new internet property coming out. It's going to be crazy.
So the lawsuit proceeds with various dismissals and appeals, and the court knows that Freeway Ricky Ross had known about the rapper since at least 2006, but sued later. So the rapper Rick Ross released Teflon Don during the legal battle, and in 2013, the court rules in favor of the rapper. The state appeal court upholds it in December 2013 on First Amendment grounds, protecting the rapper's artistic persona and use of the name.
You are, everybody knows who you are, takes your name. I mean, it's like, it doesn't even make sense that it's like, didn't you have a case?
Because it's a kingpin name. If he was any other thing, a boxer, an entrepreneur, a realtor, a politician, a rapper, singer, anything other than a kingpin, he would have had action.
You had like a legal case about it.
I lost the case.
How the fuck did you lose?
They say I should have filed a lawsuit. The judge got to make a technical decision. She had to make a decision, when did the public first become known of him using my name? So what she did is she picked a little radio station outside of Miami that played his record for the first time. So that was the date that the public first became known that he was using the name.
So there was a statute of limitations of when you were supposed to address it?
Yes.
How much time?
2 years.
What?
Yeah, you get 2 years. So if we went by her time.
That's why I retained a lawyer to see if I might have some action with Crayola over that Beautiful. And I was advised of something similar. It's crazy. It's crazy. Could have probably got a check out of Crayola just to go away. Probably would have been extremely easy. They probably was fully aware, because when they searched, I know they was aware that may come. They probably was waiting them 2 years. Lord have mercy.
Frame. I should have filed my lawsuit 5 days before I got out of jail.
Oh my God.
I was 5 days late.
That's so crazy.
But I think she would have found another reason to come up with a date.
Well, the record company probably would have helped, right? I mean, think about how much money they're making off of him.
Oh yeah, they would have owed me. They have 15 lawyers.
Oh,
you know how much money they say they spent on the lawsuit?
How much?
$1.5 million.
Wow.
You know how much they
He would have took him.
offered me?
How much?
0.
He would have took $1 million. They spent $500,000 just to not give him no consideration because it was dope. They don't give a fuck about that. It's crazy.
He had a right to sue and he had to try his luck here. I do think he was a little bit ambitious. I mean, he was suing for 10 million, not only 10 million, 50% of Rick Ross, the rapper's royalties as well. He wanted a very juicy deal out of this.
He says William Roberts has made millions exploiting him. That in reality, Roberts is a college dropout and former prison guard who stole Ross's name and criminal past to launch a gangster rap career.
I did 20 years in prison, and bukus of money has went into making this name to what it is today. So I feel that it was mine, I own it, and I want it back.
He says he feels cheated, and he's asking for $10 million in damages and half of the rapper's royalties.
So the legal battle actually ends with rapper Rick Ross keeping a name, and tensions simmer publicly, but Freeway Ricky Ross has spoken in interviews claiming he tried to resolve it amicably at first, while the rappers pushed back strongly, sometimes dismissing the original Rick Ross legacy or calling out lawsuit attempt.
There was about a period of my life that I kept bringing people on because I wanted to find out who killed Tupac. So I brought on Freeway Rick Ross. I don't know what it was, probably 10 years ago. I did podcasts 2 times with him. And he came on and we spoke. And your name came up. Because in the lawsuit, he tried to sue you twice. I've never seen somebody try to sue somebody twice. That at the end, is it true that at the end of the lawsuit, he had to pay for your legal fees?
He wasted a lot of people's time. I hope he's coping with the crack addiction that he been dealing with this whole time, and I hope your listeners, I hope you didn't disappoint your listeners listening to that shit. I just hope, man, you gotta maintain a certain level of quality, and you've allowed it to dip.
Ricky Ross Freeway has been on various podcasts, and obviously he has a massive legacy in the drug game. He's got an interesting story, but at this point he actually gets asked for the first time directly about stealing the name, and Rick Ross pretty much just loses his shit.
Did he ever show you a home?
He said
Did he show you his car collection? No. Did he show you his watch collection? What the $3 million a day, where was it going to? Thank you. Thank you.
He mad. Look at you. You mad right now. He mad. Look at him.
His PBD. Your listeners deserve better. This is Ricky Rose.
Did he at all inspire the name, though? That's the only question.
I thought I've answered that 3 times.
I don't think you did. I think you went to crack, and I know he had the crack issue.
Why would a crackhead? Introduced it to a lot of young kids, and it was a bad thing. Why would a crackhead inspire the boss Rick Ross to want to be the informant?
Where did you get the name from, fat boy? Give us the answer. You've had years to come up with an answer. Do you have one?
No, that's why the lawsuit failed.
So the two of you guys have never spoken one-on-one.
Brother, you're lowering the standards of the interview now. We can't focus on crack.
If I ran a poll.
We can't focus on crack. I have a car show coming out that's so huge. My dentist, shout out to Dr. Mario Montoya. There's people out here that Freeway Rick Ross, he could have used a teeth cleaning. Did you offer him a teeth cleaner?
I should have.
Heavy plaque.
You think so?
Oh, man. That's what I'm trying to tell you, man.
So as you can see, Rick Ross wants to give zero, and I mean zero, credit to that guy inspiring him at all. He won the legal battle because of the timing. It'd be interesting to see that if the real Rick Ross got on top of this earlier, what could have happened? The court thrown it out because you have to act within a certain amount.
How stupid do a big old fat nigga look like that to have a chain around his neck that look like it make it hard for him to breathe? It's like every trend don't have to be something you jump on, bro. Why do you have on a choker? You're like a biatch, uncomfortable, hard to breathe biatch.
Time apparently, but Rick Ross, giving him credibility, would take the shine and influence that he had on the rap scene himself away from him, and he'll be looking up to someone, and you may have to actually pay him out as well for using his likeness, because it was even in
when you come off the water, you like got a little more room than a choker. It ain't quite a choker. That's just under the water. Got all that neck though.
a way that he rapped about the exact things that guy was doing.
Yeah. It's obvious he's a fraud, took another nigga name. He won in court on a technicality, and he want to disrespect a person he mimicked. Yeah, the game is crucial, bro. That's crazy. Lied his way in, and he's still cool. That's why I let you know how corny rap is. If he's cool, I'm not. And rap is corny. Officer Ricky.
Get you some money, you're gonna feel different.
Straight up.
You might even, all that other advice I could have gave you, this is the short version. You know, get you a couple dollars, man. You're gonna feel different.
Next with Nip Hustle. Big shout out to SPR, Spotter Low. You know, I'm in the black box. Had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.